call the DRC meeting to order August 7th, 2024. I will remind everybody the meeting is being live streamed, so if you have anything to say, please come up to the podium so we can get your comments on the record. We'll start with roll call. Community Development, Bobby Howell is present. Police.
Andrew King.
Public Services.
Richard Earp's here.
Fire.
Jeremy Holderfield.
And Building.
John Hansen's here.
All right, so we have 5 special events this morning. First one is End Time World Ministry, and Lexi from Recreation is here.
So the first event is End Time Word Ministry is looking to do a Marching for Jesus on Saturday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event is just a walking parade, no floats or vehicles. The staging area will be at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church in the south side of the parking lot in the open field area. The march will begin in the south side of the corner of South Central Avenue and Michael Gladden Boulevard. They're expecting about 40 people. They have minimal setup with 20 by 30 tents and 10 by 10 tents, portalettes and tables. They are not hiring a private security company. There won't be any alcohol. Parking will be inside the fence of the New Hope Missionary Church, and the affected roads of the march will be South Central Avenue, West 10th Street, Marvin Z. Zanders, and West 13th Street.
Any questions for Lexi?
Lexi, I missed it. Are they asking for road closures or?
They were going to go off of APD's recommendation if they needed to be closed or not.
Okay. So then they're going to request off duty?
Yes, if needed.
Okay.
All right, any further questions? All right, Community Development recommends approval. Police. Recommend approval? Does police recommend approval of this?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Public Services.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Fire.
No other comments.
Okay, and Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
All right, the next one is, do you want to kind of go ahead and take that one, Lexi?
Yep. So the next event is a returning event. It's 98.5 The Wire, their Star 94.5 Heart and Soul Festival. It is planned to be on Saturday, October 12th from 3 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. It is a concert/festival type event at the Apopka Amphitheater. They're expecting 3,800 people. There will be alcohol. Their setup includes food trucks, merchandise vendors, and 10 by 10 tents. They will be hiring a private security company along with APD off duty, and parking will be in Gate 5 in the overflow grass parking.
Any questions?
No comments.
All right, Community Development has none, recommends approval. Police recommends approval.
Yes.
Public Services.
I don't have any other comments. Thank you.
Fire. Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
Okay, the next one is Rotary Club of Apopka.
So this is the Rotary Club's Fall Festival. They will be starting on Sunday, October 17th through Sunday, October 20th. The times vary by day. This is just their festival fair at Kitland and Edwardsfield. They're expecting 1,500 people. Their setup includes carnival rides, a beer garden with musical entertainment, food truck vendors, and 10 by 20 tents. They will be hiring off duty. There will be alcohol, and parking will be on Edwardsfield.
All right, Community Development has no questions. Police.
No questions, just as usual, just kind of make sure it gets sent over a little ahead of time so they can do the operational plan.
Okay, I believe we already have their form, so I'll send it over after I leave here.
Okay. Approved.
Okay. Public Services.
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Fire.
No comments.
And Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
Okay. The next one is the Caribbean American Passport Multicultural Initiative.
So this is also a returning event. It's the Rum and Reggae Festival. It is planned to be on Sunday, November 3rd from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. It is a concert and / festival. It'll be at the Apopka Amphitheater with about 1,500 people, food trucks, merchandise, and vendors with 10 by 10 tents. They will be hiring private security as well as off-duty. There will be alcohol, and Gate 5 and overflow parking will be used for parking.
Community Development has no comments or questions, recommends approval. Police.
Recommended for approval. No other comment.
Public Services.
No comments, thank you.
Fire.
How many was expected on that? I missed that. I'm sorry.
1,500.
Okay. No comments.
Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
The next one, Above and Beyond Pregnancy Center Walk for Life Apopka.
So this is an organized run / walk on Saturday, October 26th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. It is a walk for life. They are expecting 100 people. The location of the event is the 5th Street public parking behind the pregnancy center. They will be walking to Kitland and then back to the 5th Street parking where their center is located. They're expecting about 100 people. They'll have tables for check-in and 10 by 10 tents. They will be hiring a private security company and off duty if needed. And that is pretty much it.
Okay, Community Development has no questions or comments, recommends approval. Police.
Recommended approval.
Public Services.
Don't have anything, thank you.
Fire.
No comments.
Building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
All right, thank you very much. That's the conclusion of our special events portion of the meeting.
Thank you.
Next item is construction site plan for an office warehouse located at 1291 South Orange Blossom Trail. And I can't get the plan to load because the computer's crashing. So picture it, Sicily. If you ever watched The Golden Girls. So I don't know if the applicant's in attendance or not. Comments from planning were that 2 EV spaces are required, electronic vehicle charging spaces are required per building code. Any other questions or comments from any other member of the DRC?
This is Richard. I had some fairly fundamental issues, like they didn't show the floodplain, the FEMA floodplain. Their walls are higher than 6 feet. Their walls are on the property line. They say there's a cross section to a burn, cross section in their plan set that shows some of the details, which I couldn't find. And I don't know how they're directing the offsite flow either around, over, through their project. It's not, I don't think it's really ready for review yet. I mean, the cover sheet still says something about a recreation facility on it, which is just a cut and paste from the previous project. I think the engineer needs to try a little harder before he resubmits.
The engineer is here. Mr. Polliner, if you want to come on up to the podium. Come on down.
Well, that was quick. Okay. Good morning, Larry Polliner, RCA Consultants.
And we were just going through the public works comments.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't receive a comment from you.
Yeah, you got comments from planning, but
I
Public
did?
Works had comments. Yeah, they were available in OpenGov.
Okay,
We
because it
went
wasn't
over
on the
those
sheet.
the phone yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't on the sheet that you sent me.
Yeah, the
comment.
comment letter hadn't been generated, but it's in
Okay.
OpenGov.
Okay, and that was just to add those two.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
So I had some fairly fundamental comments I was talking about when you walked in the room. So, I mean, I reviewed the plan set for what I could, but I mean, I ran into several fundamental comments where I really couldn't get into the nuts and bolts of the project because some of the essential information wasn't in the package,
Okay.
like the floodplain and no mention of the walls being higher than 6 feet, although that doesn't adhere to the land development code. Walls on the property line, it appeared to be. There's some cross sections that were referenced, but they weren't. I didn't find them. It didn't appear they were provided, and there's some offsite flow issues. So I can give it a full review if you clean some things up and resubmit. But
Okay.
I didn't try to do a full review because the fundamental things weren't there that I need to look at.
Okay. Yeah, the floodplain actually wasn't even located on it's Zone A. So I went to the lake index for Orange County, and they delineate a 100-year flood, which almost lines up exactly with the wetland line. So we have a buffer off the wetland, so there's no issues. The surveyor is already putting it in.
All right, you're going to need to actually pull the line from FEMA. The community rating system program requires that, regardless of whether or not it follows a contour or not, to show the actual polygon for the floodplain from FEMA. There's multiple sources. My GIS people are aware of 6 or 8.
Well, if the surveyor puts it on the plan, is that
The
sufficient?
surveyor can put it on the plan. He should be able to get to that.
Yeah, that's what that. Yeah, I spoke to David White this morning. He's putting it on there as well. Yeah, and there's the walls. So there is a limit on it's 6 foot?
Yeah, you could refer to the land development code. Yeah, there's language in the land development code about the maximum height of retaining walls.
Okay.
And I think I referred in my comment. I just have a page of comments. If you haven't gotten those in the past, either me or Margaret would be happy to forward them to you. It just gives all the details about what we need for retaining walls and saying things like, oh, the railing on top is going to be designed by other unnamed people someday in the future, and that's kind of the kind of thing that's not accepted. I need to make sure the structural engineer and the civil engineer and the geotechnical engineer are not all working in 3 separate vacuums, that they're collaborating together and they understand each other's designs and how they overlap. So a letter that says those 3 people are aware of each other's work and have collaborated, or letters from all 3 of them individually, either way. I need a PE to certify that has happened. And I can email you that. It's about a page worth of.
Yeah, the geotech's usually not an issue, but I don't know why we would go to the structural now because it's all going to depend on the wall type. There's 20 different walls that we could put up, different manufacturers.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We need to bore all DRC, but at 9 times out of 10, or 9.9 times out of 10, the structural engineer is going to design for 30% friction angle sand and say, if it's not 30% friction angle sand, replace all the soil on site with 30% friction angle sand down to 15 feet, and you'll be fine. Of course, that you don't plan to do that. So the structural engineering report either needs to reference the actual site and the water table that's going to be an issue for you on site, and he'll get that from the geotechnical engineer. And then the civil engineer needs to make sure that he's not sending this waterfall over the retaining wall, and he knows that the water all needs to be directed away from the top of the retaining wall, or it's a recipe for failure. So I just need those people all to collaborate and send me a signed and sealed letter that says they've all talked, and then the liability is clarified, and it's
Okay.
not just I did my part. I don't know anything about Roger or Sue. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Any further questions or comments for the applicant? We'll go around. The community development has none other than comments that were generated. Police,
No comments.
public services,
Nothing else, thanks.
fire, building.
I don't have anything, thanks.
All right.
Were there any utility comments? Okay. Does that mean that there might be utility comments?
That means I started looking at your plan set, and it was lacking fundamental engineering items on it, and so I stopped looking at it after I got to 4 or 5 items, and I didn't get to utilities at that point. So if you want to address the things that are required by the land development code in the submittal, I'll be happy to give it a thorough look, including utilities, but I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
All right.
All right. Computer froze up again, but there were no other items on the agenda. Anything for discussion? Hearing none, we're adjourned.